It's Paul from I Like to Paint Minis. Today's topic is going to be miniatures. It's going to be different types: resin, plastic, metal, ones that are expensive or super expensive down to affordable miniatures, depending where you're starting your journey in the hobby. We're going to see things that are complete miniatures, miniatures that you need to build. I'll talk about that, different types, maybe painting techniques. Otherwise, we'll get started here in a couple minutes. And once again, thanks for joining I Like to Paint Minis with Paul.
Hey everybody, let's get started. So as I mentioned, I was going to go over some miniatures today that can be super expensive all the way down to affordable. It just depends where you're at in your hobby journey. And it's going to be different types. I might misspeak about if it's resin or plastic, hard plastic, or not knowing the true plastic, but I'm doing the best I can for you today. So I wanted to share my experience of getting different types of miniatures over the last 7+ years. So the miniature I'm holding up right now is a resin printed miniature. I bought this as a series or a set from someone off of Etsy. And basically, the great thing about resin printed miniatures is once you get the STL file, you can print this miniature up as many times as you want, share it with people. Some of the artists have really great detail. This miniature is from a line that's supposed to be for a campaign called The Curse of Strahd or Ravenloft. It just depends where the characters are at in there. But as I mentioned, this one has already been primed and set up for a slap shot method based on how I normally told you I do. I use the Army Painter Speed Paint line and also some other Fanatic and previous paints before Fanatic. More of a 50-50 approach. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll put them next to the 20-sided miniature. Hopefully that's coming in for you. You get a perception of size, right? Because I mentioned two miniatures come in all different sizes. I believe this one is 28 or 27 millimeters. So for you guys out there who are older like me, or everybody who's a little bit older, if you think your eyes are bad, just get a pair of readers, get some magnifying glasses. You can buy them on Amazon or Temu, wherever you may be. So let me pull this miniature back. And then, so I'm gonna bring up in the corner now is I'm gonna bring in what is they call a metal miniature for today. They're made out of pewter. Back in the day, metal miniatures, fun fact, were made out of lead. And I'm talking before D&D. These go back to when people played true war games or skirmish games, but they called them Napoleonic games and other things, but they were actually made out of lead, like straight on lead, cast in lead. And then, also the TSR line were in lead for a while, but when the lead craze went around and people were nervous because for some reason, people just said, hey, let me chew on my miniature while I'm playing my game. Great detail on this one, about 28 millimeter. This one was made by a company or a game that's out there. I apologize, I can't remember the name of the company, but the game is called Relic Blade. I don't play it, but I saw the miniatures in a video. I'm like, ooh, those are awesome for D&D. Put them next to the 20-sided die again, and you'll see that he's kind of the same concept, the size of the other miniature that I showed you. Pull that back. And those ones, depending on metal miniatures, they can be anywhere from $2.99 up to $50. Just depend the size, the quality, and where you buy them. And like I said, if you're early in the journey and you want to make you're gonna make mistakes. It's not that you want to make mistakes. Focus on the models you know that aren't going to cost you as much, because you're going to spend money on the bigger ones, and two, if they're the most expensive ones, you start making mistakes, you're going to be like me at first. You're going to get discouraged, so don't do it. Now these ones, these two that I'm bringing out now, hopefully you can see them. They are made by Reaper Miniatures, or Reaper. They're a US company. They have a ton of different types of miniatures and different types of plastics, and they have some metal. Now this one I'm holding up, Totera, the Succubus, she's from the Dungeon Dwellers line. She's about 28 millimeters. Great detail, great quality on that miniature. And I picked this because eventually I'm gonna paint it up, and like I always tell myself, and then I'm probably gonna let my DM use it or someone else that wants in a campaign, because you always have to have some type of evil demon or succubi in your game. Straight up miniatures, I suggest going out to Reaper and checking out some of their miniatures. Great quality. They start as low as I mentioned. Sometimes they have sales, $1.50, buy 4, get 1 free. Sometimes they throw mystery paints in their boxes. Around Halloween, they do a Halloween themed one. And the last two that I participated in, they throw in candy. It's really cool. And this is from the Reaper Bones Black line. I think it's a different type of plastic in that aspect. This is the Orc Champion with axe, but it can be whatever you want, right? I mean, that's the coolest part about it. So those are those are about 28 millimeters as well. Let me go ahead and pull those to the side. So now what I'm gonna bring up for you is another type of resin or hard plastic. This is made by, they're like World War II games. And the reason I bought this, because they look cool. And they were on sale. Normally they were like 30 bucks for 4 miniatures. And they come with bases too as well. And I'm gonna paint these guys up however I wanna do it. It says Italian Patrol Commanders, but I'm pretty sure I can flip this to a US troop with no problem at all. Bolt Action is another game out there. It's kind of like the Napoleonic, but it's more of, this one's for World War II. They have other ones, vehicles, terrain, different aspects of it. But definitely cool. And sometimes these come on sprues, and we'll get to sprues when that comes up, and you have to clip them out. Pretty straightforward. You can see a little bit of tinge in the gray, probably or not. I suggest washing these with warm water and soap, drying them off or let them dry. Same with the Reaper miniatures. Any type of true plastic miniature that you might see like a coating on, because if it's an oily like substance, your paint's not going to stick too well. Just advice, or from experience, and I didn't listen to the last YouTuber. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in another metal model. I picked these guys up a while back. This is from TSR. That was Dungeons and Dragons, now which is, you know, Wizards of the Coast. But these were cool. I mean, if you can tell by the price, for $2, these are old. These are definitely lead. They have to definitely be lead. It's a 5-piece Dwarven set, and I haven't opened it. I've had this for about 2 years because it's pretty nostalgic. But these are lead. And on metal models, some parts have to be, you know, glued on, or what they call pinning them on. We'll get to that in another series when we go to build models. But these were awesome. I picked them up. I didn't pay $2. I paid more than $2. Someone also suggested retail price $5. But I know for sure these are from the 80s. If you can see down here where my finger's at, 1983. Dude, I was like 13. I'm old. But in the back too, they also used to, and these include adventure squares. So basically, today we have maps and digital maps and things we can use for D&D, but these would give you ideas to put on your board that you're drawing on graph paper, to have these areas to make the imagination come more to in light of how you want to imagine. And as you can see, this product contains lead and should not be chewed or swallowed. Children under 10. So, like I was not kidding, people put these things in their mouth. Otherwise, let me pull that one aside. Definitely, that was a cool find. I really enjoyed that one. So now let's get into where models can get expensive. This one is Gut Rot Spume. Hopefully I'm saying that right. He's part of the Nurgle army from Citadel/Warhammer. This is a game I do not play, but I did buy it because I own a lot of Citadel Warhammer models, and because it got great detail. But sometimes the price can get pretty pricey. Like this one right here, this one model is 30 bucks. But hopefully you can see some of the detail on this model, from the armor, you know, to its body. This comes on a sprue, and this will have to be clipped off from the sprue or broken away. And when I do my tutorials on different types of tools and, you know, taking care of models, I'll explain that. They usually come with a base. You don't have to use that base. You can be making your own base. If you watched other videos from other YouTubers, you'll see that. But also, I'm gonna have a tutorial on basing. It's probably gonna be starting with the previous video where I painted up the owlbear and making a base for that. This one costs 30 bucks. I've seen single models like this that have even more detail, 45 to 50 bucks. Then Citadel's got some crazy models out there that are awesome, like 72 millimeters or whatever it may be. I mean, even bigger than this cat right here, right? But they go up into the $100, $150 range. So, like I suggest, start your journey with models that you like, but you know that you're gonna make mistakes on. Because trust me, you're gonna make mistakes, right? It's just how it is. So next up, hopefully you can see this. This is an actual sprue from a set that I bought, and I believe it is from Frostgrave, Barbarians 1 or 2, and that is for a game called, like I mentioned, Frostgrave. And these miniatures are made by North Star Military in collaboration with Osprey Games, because Osprey makes Frostgrave and some other games that are out there. But what I like about these, you can see that I've already made two. So this came with, a set of bodies in different poses, and with that you can clip these off the sprue but map out how you want to make your miniature. You got different types of weapons, different types of hands, little doodads, packs, right? Daggers, things that can go on the side, shields in that aspect. Now what happens with these ones from Frostgrave, and there are some other ones out there, you're gonna get more doodads and weapons than you need. But what you can do with those is save the heads, the arms, the legs, whatever it may be. And how I save them is I usually buy a small lure box that's used for lures for fishing, and then I categorize them by different types of heads in games. So when you come back later, maybe it's not barbarians you're doing from Frostgrave, but wizards, or wizards 1 and 2, or gnolls, or whatever it may be. You can use the heads from this set on that set and that aspect. Frostgrave's good about, or North Star Military, about intermatching those pieces. And they also make metal miniatures as well. And that term is called, you can also do it with other plastic lines, resin 3, however you want to do it, but you're gonna hear a term more and more videos that you watch from other YouTubers, kit bashing. It's cool, it can be frustrating, but it's something cool to work on and save you money. I think this Frostgrave set, it came with 2 sprues, and it came with 10 miniatures in total, I believe, and pretty reasonable. This one cost me like probably 31 bucks, right? I'm not gonna do the whole price per miniature, well, because I'm not a mathematician, but you get the point. I'm gonna bring up another sprue here for you, something that's on the sprue. Now this is a Warhammer sprue, and they all don't look like this, of course, but this came from the Tomb Kings, I believe, because they revamped that line. I bought this box set because I like skeletons. But same option, right? You got legs, you got a body, you got heads, and doodads, weapons. They give you some stuff like tombstones, depending if you're doing scenery or whatever the game requires. This came with a few sprues, quite a few sprues, but there's a few reasons I bought this. Did I say that? I like skeletons, but I also think skeletons are great if you're teaching a friend to paint, or if you're remembering how to paint, because skeletons don't, they're basic, but you can do different options on there with wet blending, dry brushing, different techniques, speed painting, grunging them up, making them look all brand new or bleached in the sun. But it's a great model to learn with. Now that Tomb King box, I forgot how many sprues it came with, but it definitely cost me anywhere, I believe, in the $40 to $50 range. So they jump up, right? But they're cool. So let's go ahead and pull up another sprue type set, another plastic. Now this one I kept the box for because, of course, I haven't started it yet. This is, hopefully you can see it, hopefully it's not too big on the screen, but this comes from Dead Man's Hand, 10 multi-part plastic 28 millimeters miniatures. I painted Gunfighters 1 already. Don't have any out to show you. That was the male version of it, but these are female Gunfighters, which I think is even cooler, right? Here's some on the back, some ideas on how to paint your Gunfighters, right? It just depends on how you want to do it. So let me go ahead and get these out. I'm gonna set that box aside. So a lot of miniatures do this, some don't. They come with bases. These are pretty generic, but it's whatever you want to do with that base. Do you want to put sand down, make grass on it, whatever it may be. Watch out for my tutorial on that. But you get the bases to match the miniature. Same concept here. You got a few different bodies, right, in that aspect. And then you'll see that, apologize, I had my music on and then it cut into a commercial. But then you'll go around and see different areas where you can make up different sets, right? Guns, heads, whatever it may be in those areas. But like I said, these are pretty economical. This set probably cost me like another 30 bucks. And I actually picked it up. I was out in Michigan for work, and I had a break, and there's an awesome miniature store out there, as recommended by Ninjon, to take a look at. It was called Michigan Toy Soldier. So if you're ever in Michigan, and I wish I remembered where it was at to share with you now, but man, they got everything. Go online, Michigan Toy Soldier. They got more online that you can order in those areas. Here's another set. These are more of a hardened plastic, but this is, most of you out there, if you do play it, it's called Star Wars Legion. I don't play this as well. I like to paint, right? That's what I guess it's called. I like to paint minis. But you're gonna see here contents. It gives you the tokens and the cards for the game and everything. But these two look cool because I'm a Star Wars fan. You got the Tauntauns with the riders. You know, they're probably generic riders, but you know what? Who's not to say this is Han Solo and this is Luke? Once again, it depends on how you want to paint it up. My ideas for this one, I'm going to try to stay as close as I can to the movie, right? And then on the bases, it's going to be some like snow type of basing. And there's different ways that people do the snow basing within those areas. It can be as simple as just, I've seen people put cotton down, and not saying that's not simple, but also I've seen people use baking soda. Also, different companies make basing material. You'll see that basing material when I do that video. It's going to talk about different products I use. I know Army Painter makes snow that you can put down. Trust me, if you have something you want on a base or on your miniature, someone makes it, right? And you can use it, but just don't get out of control. It's hard not to, but it's one of those things that you want to take advantage of, right? Depending where you are in your hardware journey. I'll show a couple other miniatures real quick. I don't want this video to be too long for you, but I definitely, if you are watching and you have subscribed or you like, please share it with a friend. Leave a comment of something that you might want to see in the future, and I definitely can put that out there for you, or work on it, or ask questions about it, right? I'm still a noob, right? So I'm asking questions. I'm reaching out to people like Uncle Adam, you know, or dude, I email Army Painter more than they probably want to have questions, but you know what? They all want you to get better because they're in this hobby just like you, to have fun, to do something, to relieve stress, whatever it may be. Yes, some of it's turned into a business for people, but at the end of the day, they want it to be fun. There's other things out there too, plastic terrain sets or hardened plastic. Now this one is from Citadel or Games Workshop. It's part of a really big set. I think it's called the Tower set or whatever it may be. I'm going to try to make sure next time going forward, if I call out something, I'll have the exact correct name so you can search it. If you want to know what this is and you want to paint it, leave me a comment and I'll make sure I get you the accurate name for that. But this one was really cool. Now this is a blend too of speed paints and acrylic paints from the Army Painter. The only thing that is not Army Painter on here, and I haven't finished it yet, right? I'm still working on it, is I used Nolan oil for the shading, right? But everything else is Army Painter. Dude, the pieces can get out of control. This is just one small piece of this set, and it consists of like 4 or 5 pieces, graveyards and all that. I want to use it in my Curse of Strahd campaign, the church, and have a graveyard next to it. And if you played Strahd, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, go check out Dungeons & Dragons Curse of Strahd. It's pretty awesome. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and set this down, and I want to thank you for joining today. As I mentioned, my next video is going to be around learning how to base, starting with our friend, the owlbear. So that's coming up soon. Otherwise, have a great day, and thank you for joining.